Wait, before you scroll past this moment, imagine a stranger looking straight into your eyes and saying the one sentence that cracks open a life you've spent decades hiding. If this story pulls at your heart even a little, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us why human connections still matter. It was an ordinary afternoon in the city park, the kind where people pass by without seeing each other, when a little girl's voice stopped one of the most powerful men in the city in his tracks. She stood in front of him, clutching a worn sketchbook to her chest, her eyes wide with certainty, and said, "You look exactly like my dad's painting." Ethan Caldwell, CEO of one of the largest architectural firms in the country, had chosen that bench because no one ever bothered him there. Dressed in a charcoal coat, his silver-streaked hair neatly combed, he looked like a man who had everything under control. But control was a habit he used to hide loneliness. At 47, Ethan had boardrooms full of people who listened to his every word, yet not a single soul who truly knew him. He had lost his parents young, buried his dreams under deadlines, and learned that success could drown out pain, but only temporarily. The park was his escape, the one place where he could sit, breathe, and remember the version of himself he'd abandoned long ago. The girl couldn't have been more than 8 years old. She wore a faded yellow jacket that was slightly too big for her, dark curls escaping from a loose ponytail. Her name, she said proudly, was Lily. Ethan smiled politely at first, assuming this was just a child's imagination running wild, but something in her voice, steady, unafraid, made him pause. She flipped open her sketchbook and held it up. Inside was a painting of a man standing by the sea, brush in hand, eyes filled with longing. Ethan's breath caught. The resemblance was undeniable. Same sharp jawline, same tired eyes that had seen too much and said too little. "That's my dad," Lily said softly. "He painted this before he disappeared." The word disappeared landed heavier than lost. Ethan felt a strange pressure in his chest, a feeling he hadn't experienced in years. He asked her where her father was now, and Lily shrugged, the innocence in her shoulders weighed down by something far too heavy for a child. Her mother, Anna, had told her that her father had left to chase his dreams and never came back. But Lily believed paintings didn't lie. She believed that the man in the picture was still out there, somewhere, unfinished. Ethan wanted to stand up and walk away. He had learned long ago that unanswered questions were safer than painful truths. But Lily's eyes reminded him of someone, himself, decades earlier, when he still believed the world would make space for his dreams. Against his better judgment, he asked if he could meet her mother. Anna arrived minutes later, breathless and apologetic. She was in her early 30s, with tired eyes and hands stained faintly with paint that never quite washed off. When she looked at Ethan, her face drained of color. Silence stretched between them, thick and electric. She knew him, or rather, she knew the man he used to be. Years earlier, Ethan hadn't been a CEO. He'd been an artist, painting sunsets and broken hearts, dreaming of galleries and quiet lives. Anna had loved him when he was that man. But ambition had whispered louder than love. When Ethan was offered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to study architecture abroad, fear convinced him that staying meant becoming nothing. He left with promises he never kept, letters he never sent, and a goodbye that was more of an escape. He didn't know Anna was pregnant. Or maybe a part of him had. Suspected and chosen not to ask. The park bench suddenly felt too small for the weight of the past. Ethan listened as Anna spoke, not with anger, but with exhaustion. She told him about the years she spent waiting, about painting to survive, about Lily asking every night why her father never came back. Each word chipped away at the fortress Ethan had built around himself. Success, awards, magazine covers, none of it mattered in that moment. Lily watched them closely, sensing something important was unfolding. When she reached out and slipped her small hand into Ethan's, he didn't pull away. For the first time in decades, he let himself feel the full weight of what he had lost, and what he still might gain. Ethan didn't ask for forgiveness right away. He knew some wounds needed time before words could touch them. Instead, he asked for a chance, to be present, to listen, to learn how to be the man he should have been all along. Anna didn't promise anything. Trust, she said, was built slowly, like a painting, one careful stroke at a time. The weeks that followed were awkward and uncertain. Ethan traded board meetings for park visits, expensive suits for simple sweaters. He learned Lily's favorite colors, her fear of thunderstorms, her dream of becoming an artist like her parents. At night, alone in his penthouse, He stared at unfinished blueprints and realized how empty his achievements felt without someone to share them with. The biggest challenge came when Ethan was offered a promotion that would move him overseas permanently. It was everything he had worked for, but it would mean leaving again. This time, the choice was clear. He declined. The board was stunned. The media speculated, but Ethan felt lighter than he ever had. For once, he wasn't running. Months later, Anna invited Ethan to Lily's small art exhibition at a local community center. On the wall hung a new painting. A man, a woman, and a child sitting on a park bench, sunlight breaking through the trees. The man's face was still uncertain, unfinished, but hopeful. Lily beamed as she explained, "It's about people who find each other again." Ethan understood then that life didn't give second chances to erase the past, but to rewrite the future. He would never undo the years he lost, but he could choose who he was from that moment forward. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of someone you miss or a chance you wish you'd taken, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this aren't just entertainment, they're mirrors, showing us who we are and who we could become. Because sometimes, the most powerful success isn't found in titles or wealth, but in the courage to sit on a park bench, face your past, and finally come home.